Hello, math teachers and elementary teachers. I am hoping to share this out to you. It's a resource we have available through Text Help, which is our read and write. Some of you may be familiar with it already, but it's called EquatIO Math Space. Just got this the other day, and it is pretty cool. It has an option for you to use it on the iPad, but I was playing around with it here on my laptop, and this is what it looks like. So I'll give the link to it, and then when you get into your EquatIO, you'll just sign in with your Google account since we have access, and so do our students, to all this, and you'll go ahead and create a new math space. And I'm going to go into one I already started here. And I know some of the high school teachers may have already used this for like Google Forms when they want to put in different equation editors and stuff like that. But they've offered now, especially for elementary teachers, I wanted to show this part, that you have shapes in there, you have 10 frames and fractions and protractors and all that kind of good stuff in there as well. So this is, of course, an elementary type example, but you can do a couple different things. So if I wanted to input speech, I know a couple teachers have tried this, and I could say exactly what I wanted it to say for the equation, or I could actually do and it will start putting the math equation over here. And when I want to put it into that, I'll say insert math. 3x plus 4 equals 12. So you'll see over here it made it, and I'll say insert math. It's going to put it into this math space, it's called. Now this math space is just one page, but you'll see that you have the option up here to add images, import files as well, and then you have all your tools down here that you can write the math equation too. So that's why if you're using the iPad and you want to write an equation, it will transform it into written text like this that you can put in there. So for example, I put together this one, and students were going to have to figure out how much this shows and also show how much this one is. But this is cool. You have all these options over here. So I can say, how many segments do I want to have in this one? So I could change it to, I can make it 8, 1, whatever I want it to be. It's going to put it into all those different fractions there. And then how many do you want shaded in? So if I was doing equivalent fractions, I could do things like that. What way do you want to shade it? All these different things you can play around with and label them and such. But it has that read and write part built in too, where it will read
Reddish pink
anything.
fraction circle with black border.
And it's going to tell you exactly what's there. But anyway, so once I get this created, this math space with some practice problems and areas for kids to fill in, I'm going to go ahead and say share it out. And of course, if you want the kids to respond back, this is so cool. It's going to make a copy for each student. And expecting a response means that they have to complete it. So they're going to have to put in there how much, that shows, what is the fraction of that. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and say continue. And it's going to ask me how I want to share it. So the great thing, again, this is integrated right with Google Classroom. So I'm going to pick Google Classroom here in just a moment. So you can see here I have different ways to share it, but I'm going to choose Classroom, and then it's going to do just like many of these built-in other sites do. It's going to bring me to the screen here where I'm going to choose the class I want to assign it to. I'm going to create an assignment, and then from there I can title it, how much, you can put the directions in there, and so on. And I'm going to change my topic over here, and if it's graded or not, so on, put the due date. So I'm going to go ahead and assign that. And then now that I've got that assigned, I can close out of this tab and this one, and I'm going to go back to my main screen. So you're going to see that I have, underneath the spaces I've created, I have the assignments I've shared out. So I have different ones here. So here's the one I just shared out. You can see that no one has responded to it yet. So this one over here shows that I have 2 responses. So I'm going to switch over to a student now. So now I'm the student, and I'm going into the class. And I see that under classwork, I have a new assignment here. So here's that assignment as a student, and they're going to see this pop up, EquatIO Math Space. And then from there, it will automatically open for them. They may have to do their Google sign-in as well for this. And once they are in, it's going to open their math space. Yep, here it is, sign in with Google. And they'll choose their name, of course. and then they're going to complete the activity, whatever the directions were that you gave them to do. So for this, students have the same toolbar that you do. So they could draw and create things as well. So you could give them a math problem and then they have to recreate what it would look like. So you give them the fraction, they have to do it. So they see here's that same one I created then, freehand drawing. So they could go in here and write it. So they could say 3/6, which equals 1/2. Of course, I'm on a laptop, so this is tricky, but I've got that. And then over here, this is 100, 10, and 11. So they're going to write 111. They could also record, and I could say 111. And then they just have to know that they have to hit insert math. And then notice it pops up always over here on the left. So I could do it written like this too. Like I said, you only have this one screen to work with, so you don't have multiple screens, so just be aware of that. And then when they're done with the activity, they just have to hit the little airplane here to submit their work, and it's going to send it to you. So now I'm going to jump back over here as the teacher, and you'll notice that that 0 now says that I have 1. So I'm going to click on this so I can see the student work. And I'm going to see all the responses show up here, and I can sort them if I want to as well. All right, so I see this student has responded, so I'm going to open up their work. So it's very similar to Google Classroom. You see that in there. I'm not sure why that line got there. But over here, I want to give feedback. So I have that turned on, and I can either write something, freehand draw it, or I could record something. Great job on your assignment. You got all of them correct. And of course, I can take that and I can put that text into there if I want to, leave feedback that way. And then when I'm done, I would send it back to student. I'm actually going to give it this, and I'm going to say, great job. Just say great. There we go. Send it back to the student. And then how do the students see it? So I go back to student view now. And let's say I re-click on that. So they're going to see the feedback right within the math space. So now they should see in this math space your comment up at the top that says great. So you would have to, of course, in your activity here, if you graded it, go ahead and let them know, like in a private comment, say, go back and recheck that. And then once it opens up, they'll be able to see that comment that shows up there, and it's getting ready. And there it is. So there's the comment, and they can continue. So it can go back and forth many times as well. So that's a really awesome tool. It can be great to use just for you to set up samples. And even if you just want to do screenshots of some of this stuff that you create in EquatIO Math Space. But it does, once again, it has that option that you can use the iPad app too. So I'll share this link to you, and hopefully it helps you out. Have an awesome day.